Welcome into your PFF Heisman Watch, brought to you by Eckridge, the official smoked sausage of the college football playoffs. We're only 2 weeks into the season, but it's never too early to discuss the Heisman. So let's get into it. 10 players who are either playing well or already on the PFF radar when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. And it's all going to start with Will Grier, quarterback from West Virginia. He's been the best quarterback in the country through 2 weeks with a 94 overall PFF grade, completing 46 of 60 attempts for 761 yards, 9-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. But then when you even dive into the film, it's better than that, a 95.8 passing grade and a ridiculous perfect passer rating of 158.3 when throwing from a clean pocket. Another quarterback to mention is Justin Herbert out of Oregon. He's our #1 quarterback when it comes to the NFL draft looking forward. He has been unbelievable throwing the ball down the field, even though the raw stats say 5 for 11 for 164 and 4 touchdowns on those deep passes. He's also had 4 drops, meaning he's been on target on 9 out of 11 deep passes. Wait for Herbert to break out when Oregon's schedule gets a little bit more difficult. The last quarterback on this list, it's Mackenzie Milton from UCF. Took a bit of a step back last week against South Carolina State, but a 90.7 overall grade last year. The guy is magic, and we saw special big-time throws in week 1 against UConn. Let's move over to running back. It's Jonathan Taylor of Wisconsin. Yes, he's aided by perhaps the best offensive line in the entire country, but Taylor's elusive rating of 119.5 is 5th among running backs with at least 30 touches, meaning that elusive rating is showing he's doing it on his own, creating yards after contact, and he's also forced 13 missed tackles on his 51 carries, averaging 4.7 yards after contact per attempt. Another running back is Benny Snell of Kentucky. I know you don't focus on running back wins, but it was a signature win. Kentucky upsets Florida the first time in 31 years, and Benny Snell was the bell cow in that game. He's forced 11 missed tackles on 48 carries. He's the heart and soul of that Kentucky offense, so he'll be in this Heisman mix if Kentucky continues to have success as they get further into SEC play. Before we get into the next 5 guys, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Eckridge.
So if this guy runs a post and this guy runs a wheel route, that's a touchdown, right?
Could be, but if I send this middle linebacker on a blitz, he's going to get your quarterback before he can get that ball off.
Not if I leave my running back in to blow your linebacker up.
But I still have this safety back here. If he doesn't bite on that post, you don't have a play.
Not anymore.
Eckridge, get Saturday done right.
Dude, it's a flag.
Over to wide receiver, A.J. Brown of Ole Miss, perhaps the best receiving core in the entire country. A.J. Brown has been unstoppable to this point. 15 of 16 catchable targets have been caught for 251 yards, 3 scores, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3 when Brown has been targeted. He's caught all 3 of his deep passes for touchdowns and for 118 yards on the year. Another wide receiver to watch is Laviska Shenault from Colorado, a breakout player to this point with an 88.3 receiving grade, 3rd best among Power 5 receivers. He's averaged 13.7 yards after the catch per reception and also had 2 highlight reel catches, including the game-winning score against Nebraska this past week. We'll see if he can keep it up, but Shenault should be in this discussion at least through these 2 weeks. And then it wouldn't be a Heisman watch here at PFF if we did not give love to the defensive side of the ball. We have 3 defensive linemen making our watch list, starting with Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State, our top-graded interior defensive lineman. He has 6 total pressures, and he has 7 solo tackles, all for defensive stops. That's essentially an offensive failure in and around the line of scrimmage. Another interior defensive lineman to keep an eye on is Ed Oliver from Houston. He was the #2 player in the nation in our PFF top 50 coming into the season. He's had 7 run stops as well, and he started to rush the passer a little bit better than he did his first 2 years in college. He had a 6 pressure game just last week, now has 8 total on the season. Ed Oliver, the best run-stopping interior defensive lineman in the entire country. And then, of course, the #1 player on the PFF College 50 coming into the year was Nick Bosa from Ohio State. He's only played 72 snaps in these first 2 weeks, but he's the top-graded edge defender at 91.6 overall. And because we're tracking every player on every snap, we know that he's won 34.8% of his pass rushes, by far the top number in the nation. Wait until Bosa gets to play a few full games against some better teams, he will break out and light up the stat sheet when it comes to sacks, hits, and hurries. So there you have it. It is your PFF Heisman Watch, brought to you by Eckridge. Don't forget to pick up Eckridge smoked sausage at your local grocery store for this weekend's tailgate or homegate party. And make sure to visit EckridgeFootball.com for great game day recipes and to enter their season-long $1 Million Challenge.